Hello, and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Today we're going to work on stages 29 and 30 of the Batmobiles from Fanhome. Go ahead and get the first book out of the way, or the second book out of the way, the second pack of parts out of the way. Get the parts open for stage 29. Some screws in there. This is more of the chassis parts. We have some CM and some EM screws. Get the book open. And what do we have here? We have the rear frame, shock absorber mounts, and the screws. Happen to have the CM screws from last time, still handy. There's only three CM screws in here, so we'll be using the ones from last time instead of having a second bag hanging around. Let's go ahead and turn the page and see what we have to do. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the shock absorber mounts. Get all the parts out. And these are all metal parts, by the way. And they're going to just go on here like this. I'm just double checking there is no indentation or anything like that. So they're just going to attach like that. So we get two EM screws out. We're not going to use a big screwdriver this time because they should be smaller screws. Oil open, get some up here on the top, reservoir, dip this in here. See if I can manage to get this together, because there are almost too many parts to keep control of at one time while you're trying to put the screws in. Almost, but not quite. And I have butterfingers. Let's try this way instead. We'll set that on the table instead of trying to hold it. See if we can get this in there. Bunch of oil on the outside of these parts right now. So I'm going to tighten this. It does not tighten all the way. It still has a little play on it, which is good because you need to be able to position these where they're actually going to finally go. And since they are shock absorber mounts, they will probably shift a little bit anyway when the shocks compress. Just making sure. That's snug, but not too tight. That's one thing you want to be aware of, is you don't want to tighten the screws too tightly and snap them. That's part of what the oil's for, but still a lot of people have snapped off screws. And it's a royal pain if you snap the screws, because you have to get the remaining part out, and if it's inside the part itself, it's like inside this post, that would be a real pain to get out. So now that that's in place, what we're going to do is we're going to set this, just looking, no, other way. I was about to put it on backwards. We're going to set this on here, and the two tabs that stick out here and here, there are lugs underneath that we're going to put the CM screws into, and that will attach the shock absorber mounts to the frame. Wow. A little bit, I think that's oil there. It could be dried glue. No, that's oil. Dip this in the oil here. Might need the bigger screwdriver. Actually, I will need the bigger screwdriver. I'll put the CM screws in before using the bigger screwdriver. So we'll tighten this one down all the way. Again, snug, but don't snap off the screw head. Tighten this one down. And then these are going to point out. You can see it is very firmly attached. And that's all there is to do in stage 29. Let's bring the book over for stage 30 after we get the parts out, because this is actually a larger bag of parts. And double check, make sure we're not leaving any screws inside the bag. I'm bad on that. I tend to leave parts in there and then I have to go find them. So we got some AP screws, although this is metal. I believe, well, let's get the book open and make sure I'm not making a fool of myself. That is 30B rear axle housing. We have the slip yoke, and a spider joint. Interesting they call it a spider joint, because when I grew up it was called a U-joint or a universal joint. I'll show you what I'm talking about as soon as I get this out of the way. So this is a universal joint. And it's going to go inside of this Y housing. Like that. So let's go ahead and get that assembled per the instructions. So what they want you to do is take two of the AP screws, P denoting that they're going into plastic, so we will not be using oil. Let's go ahead and close that up. And you're going to put this piece here in just like that, so that you can plug in the screw from the outside. Again, one of those times when I sometimes get a little bit, I don't know what you'd call it. It gets to be a challenge to keep all the parts together at one time. I can see I cross-threaded that one on the other side, so I'm going to go ahead and get this one started, get it most of the way. And I'm going to back this one off and hopefully be able to fix those threads. Should be able to, since it is plastic. There we go. And that will actually go in there like that. There's going to be another Y part that goes on to the other side. Then we're going to put this into the axle housing. It's a pretty snug fit. It's going to go in there like that. Just interesting. I just noticed there's two, I'll call them wings here, but only one on this side. Looks a little bit different. Okay, and that is actually all there is to do in this stage. This part sits on here. This part, I think, is going to go on here somewhere. But you've got these two parts left at the end of this stage, and we will be using them in, I'm guessing we're probably going to use those in stage 30. Or this is stage 30. How about 31? So, like I said, that is all there is to do in this stage. Wonder. No, it's not going to go that far back. That's all there is to do in stages 29 and 30. Hope you're enjoying this build. Appreciate you stopping by. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to be notified of any time I post new videos. Leave a comment. I love to answer comments. Love to read comments. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Have a great day. Have a great day tomorrow. And I will see you in the next video.